The connection between you and your wife have cooled down. Y'all are in the depth of the roommate syndrome, and you're wanting to know, how do you build a connection with your wife again? Can you build a connection? Can you build a better connection with your wife? Yes, you can. We're going to be talking about that this week on episode 227 of The Relaxed Male. This is The Relaxed Male, a show that comes to you each week helping men to remove the nice guy from their life so they can actually live their life on their terms. Join the host, certified coach Brian Goodwin, as he helps men step out of their heads and become free from the thoughts that bind them. Hey man, hello and welcome to The Relaxed Male. I am your host Brian, and I am a certified men's coach who assists men who are just neck deep in the suffering in their life, whether it is the relationship with their wife or they even have an impending divorce coming up. We go through a lot, men, and we get that, and we know that our day-to-day struggles can just be overwhelming and just hold us back and keep us where we want to just play small and not reach for the great, wonderful, fulfilling, satisfying relationships that we truly, truly desire. That's where I come in. That's where this podcast comes in. We sit down, we talk about what it takes to get past the just getting by, just being there to say hi and passing on the way to the bathroom. We're here to show you how your relationship can actually become better, become greater, because this roommate syndrome is just an indicator that it's time for a change up. And that's what we're doing today. We're showing you how to do a change up, how to change, how to build a connection. We're starting from scratch, man. You've been sitting there. You've realized that for months and maybe even years now that things just aren't what they need to be. Maybe sex isn't as often as you would think that it's supposed to be. Maybe you haven't had an intimate time with your wife in months. Heck, maybe even you're coming up on a year or even longer. How do you get a fiery relationship going again? One that is full of passion and love and respect. That's the key. That's the problem. A lot of people don't. It sounds so daunting, so horrible and horribly scary to actually take the time to go, dude, I don't know how to get my wife back. My beautiful bride that I used to have is sitting in the spot right next to me in bed, but yet there's a wall that is blocking us from being able to connect. How do I connect with my wife again? And this is where we kind of have to start, because what is relationship or roommate syndrome? Where does that even come from? And that's a tough one, because a lot of times it sneaks up on us. It's not just all of a sudden one day it's like slam, we've got roommate syndrome on us. No, it's a very slow progression of us just starting to play it safe. We don't want to get our feelings hurt. We don't want to hurt the other person. We've had too many arguments with each other before. And so we kind of stop being curious with each other. We start having these little conflict cycles that kick in, and we want to avoid talking about finances because it just ends in arguments and hurt feelings and slammed doors and all this other stuff. The kids, and we start trying to mix kids together and into the life. And before you know it, it's you sitting in the living room, playing video games, going to the computer or on your phone, watching porn. She's in her room, watching her shows on her phone, talking with friends or just scrolling mindlessly through different social media channels. And you just, like I kind of said at the intro, it's just y'all say hi to each other. It's not that y'all don't talk. There's no connection at all. It's just the connection is digressed down to the level of a roommate, where y'all sit down, you divvy up the bills, y'all pay the bills, and you carry on. While in a relationship, there's more. There's the longing, the love, the yearning, the the passion that we crave as men. I want to walk by and have my wife come up, have my wife grab my ass sometimes, I want that flirty woman, that tiger in the bedroom again. How do we do that? Well, again, we have to look at why it started. We lived life so unintentionally for so many years that we weren't even aware that our marriage had cooled off. We started to realize that our life we get carried away with the river of life, and that's easy to do, man. I know. I've been there. I've talked about the times that I woke up one day and realized my kids were out of the house and I never got to do the things that I really wanted to do with them. I didn't get to take them tubing down the Guadalupe River until they were both my kids were out of the house. Why? Because I was not being intentional with how I lived my life. We have connections in our lives. Our wife is one of the biggest anchor points that we have. And those connections, the responsibilities and the kids and everything else that come into play, we try to do a very delicate balancing act of making sure that we have our wife is included, but then, like I said, we have the kids. How do you fit the kids into our lives? And then on top of that, we've got work. And if your wife works, she's out and about and she's doing stuff. She's got all her projects and everything else. You've got your friends who are coming around and going and they're wanting the time and all this. And when do you have time for yourself? When do you have time for you and your wife to just hold with each other? And to just reconnect. These are the questions that you have to start with. And the key to it all is being intentional. So we have to start with the end in mind. What does it look like? If you were able to have tomorrow, you snapped your fingers and you woke up and you had the ideal marriage. Besides for the fact that the moment you woke up, your wife's clothes just fell off of her. She fell to her knees and started going at you. What else? What else is about in this relationship do you want in your marriage? Do you want the late nights where y'all lose lose sense of time as y'all are talking about and dreaming about whatever it is y'all are wanting to do with your lives? Even if you're 40, 50 years old, you still have time. There's another 50 years ahead of you. Don't think because you hit middle age that now you're on the downhill slide. No, you've hit middle age. Now you're sitting in high gear, man. It's time to start having some fun. Start living your life intentionally. How do you want your marriage? Yeah, you may not be having, sex every 2 hours like you did when you were first married, but you still have the ability to have passionate lovemaking sessions. But how do you do that? You have to start looking at what a healthy, loving, passionate marriage is like. Are you going to be able to have all those instances? No, not really. But you're going to be a lot closer if you start living and start pointing and start directing your relationship with that objective in mind. We wander through life without even handling the rudder. We all of a sudden we wonder, how did I wind up here? Why am I nowhere near the life that I thought I wanted to have? I wanted to be a photographer when I was growing up. I wanted to go out and be known for my photography. It was just 2 years ago that I finally got a camera again. I hadn't had a camera in almost 30 years. And that is again because of living life without intention. So we have to plan. We have to look. We have to decide. Dream about what it is. Envision what it is you would love to have as the ideal marriage. Then start looking and understand why things changed. Look back, understand what part of the circumstance, why did the marriage die off like it did? And look at what was your part in that scenario. Look at why the marriage died off. How did you react when something unpleasant happened? Did you blow up? Did you stomp your feet, slam doors, cuss, scream, holler, pout? Or did you show up present with what was happening and try to help find a solution? Not that you were a bull in the china shop, but you honestly try to find a solution. Would your wife agree to that assessment? You need to look at the whys, understand what got you into this situation. It's going to take some long, hard conversations with the wife, asking, so how did we calm down? Why do we not have deep discussions anymore? And a lot of times she's going to be, I don't know, because she's not being intentional with her life. And that's okay. You don't have to drag her along. She will follow. You just have to start with curiosity. And we're going to dive into the curiosity part here a little bit more. But looking at how you want to live your life, how you want to have your marriage, that's where we start making our plans, start laying out those plans. What is it that every Saturday, 8:00 at night, you're going to go and talk with your wife for maybe 30 minutes? Set a silent alarm on your watch or something that just lets you know, after 30 minutes, if you're still kind of having not really having a conversation, all right, well, at least you tried spent some time with your wife, said more than 3 words to each other. Maybe it's every evening at 6:00, you and the wife grab the dogs and y'all go out and walk for a mile, 2 miles, 4 miles, however many miles you like to walk. Maybe it is you stepping up and surprising your wife with little treats, maybe every Tuesday and Thursday, without telling her, without asking her, without announcing that you're doing it. But you just go in and you just wash the dishes, get them taken care of, get everything started. And don't seek any recognition. She'll come in. I guarantee it. You don't have to go, oh, I went ahead and washed the dishes for you, because it's not that you're trying to degrade her or trying to shame her or anything like that. But a lot of times women, when we just jump into there and we start doing those without letting and trying to get a, recognition from her, those actions are going to, backfire, because she's going to see it as probably a type of manipulation. But also there's a good chance she's going to feel bad because she knows she let the ball fall. She dropped the ball, and she knew she was needing to do dishes and she just didn't. They piled up, and then all of a sudden you decided to take care of it. It may cause her to feel a bit guilty, but if you it doesn't mean anything to me. I just did the dishes. They were there. They were in the sink. I had to do them. I did them. So, okay, we're good. Maybe every Friday you're going to buy flowers for her. Maybe you've decided Friday nights are date night. Saturday night, date night. Boom. We have the day, we do our stuff, we get home. You dress up better than what you are, and you take your wife out for a meal, for a walk in the park. You start dating your wife again. If you want to have a good connection, that's probably one of the better things to do. Start having date night again. Take a piece of paper and list out all the accomplishments you want to have in your marriage. Those are your plans. How do you do that? Know that you're going to drop the ball, but whenever you do make a choice on something like date night, Saturday night, boom. All right, good. Stick to it with a religious fervor that hardly anything is going to get between you and your wife's date night. And date night doesn't have to be super extravagant. Date night, like I said, may be that you just go and y'all go to the park with some bologna sandwiches. And I can't even stand bologna, but I would make a bologna sandwich, sit down and just have a meal with her outside in the fresh air, and just allowed for you and her to reconnect. The phone stay in the car, and it's just You offer her arm, you offer her your arm. There's too many yous, hers, and thems and theys. And y'all just go out and you have a good time of just enjoying each other's company. If there's a carnival in town, all right, yeah, you might spend some extra money and go to the carnival, see if you can win a big old teddy bear or something. Be dating again. Treat your wife as your girlfriend. For whatever reason, when we stop dating, we get married. It's like, oh, okay, well, I don't have to work as hard anymore. I don't have to date my wife anymore. No, you need to still be dating your girl, man. That's one of the big things we drop every single time. And it's sad that we do this, but it's something that we can fix very easily. We just, again, have to be intentional with it. Now, another thing you want to make sure you do is work on yourself, not your wife. Don't come in with a self-help book going, hey, babe, you might want to read this. I made that mistake. Proper Care and Feeding a Husband. Good book. I saw myself in that book in so many instances, but I made the mistake of giving it to my wife going, hey, the wife has to want to change herself. So you have to give her the incentive as to why she wants to change. The way you do that is you work on yourself. You lead. You don't direct. You don't guide. You don't lecture. You don't demand. You eat better. You start exercising. You make constant changes to your life. You make very consistent, very defined changes. If you drink too much, maybe you stop drinking. Yeah, I hear the voice in your head. It's screaming that loud. You can't stop. Yeah, maybe that's something you need to do. Improve yourself. When she sees that you have made changes and that your life is getting better, you're becoming happier, more fulfilled, she's going to go, whoa. Am I going to lose him because he's gotten better? She's going to even try to convince you to not work so hard because of the uneasy feeling she has. She wants you to regulate her emotions, and she can't do that. You can't make her happy. That's one of the most freeing things me and my wife actually did is I abdicated. I absolved her from her responsibility of making me happy. That's the proper term. I released her from her responsibility. She no longer had to be responsible or feel like she had to be responsible for my ultimate happiness, because that will cause more suffering and more pain in another person's life than if they think they have to do everything they can to make the other person happy. That's really hard to do, considering, one, you don't have control over the other person's emotions, but two, you're struggling to make yourself happy. So how are you supposed to make the other person happy? If we want our wife to open up and to have a better connection with us, we have to work on ourselves. We have to take the time to better who we are. Now, one of the big things, if you want to have a better connection, we want to talk, right? That's how we actually connect with each other, is not just sitting beside her or, connecting with each other, physically, but we also have to talk. And a lot of the times, us guys, we have been told incorrectly by a lot of feminists and a lot of men who think that they're feminists, and we get told that we're supposed to open up more. We're supposed to be more emotionally available. No, I'm here to let you in on that fact. That is a bald-faced misrepresentation of what it is women actually want. Women want you to open up about your day. And yes, pay attention. Listen, next time your wife and a friend of hers are talking on the phone, all you have to do is hear your wife's side of the conversation. Just pay attention to what they're talking about. You will know exactly what they're doing, because they're going into minute, just insignificant little details of what their day was. They're talking about having 37.5 Cheerios and they're left in the box because Junior ate everything else. Women are very detail oriented. So when they speak and they talk and they share their life with their other women, it is a lot of detail. So what do women want when they want us to open up? They want us to open up about our days. How many emails did you go through? What did it take for you to find, what was the big problem that you had in your life? And we're going to go, it's not really important. There's nothing about that is reigns, that's going to change the world if I share it with her, but it will change her world because she feels included in your life. You used to share all those little details when you were dating her. You had those times when you would talk about and gossip and have a good time, sharing and talking incessantly like a bunch of chattering birds with each other. And you have to be able to speak without fearing that you're going to step on her toes. If she has an emotional response to something you said, okay. She had an emotional response. Don't try to fix it. And that's part of it. When you're having a conversation with your wife and she's telling you her day, she's just telling you her day. She's just reporting to you what her day was about. It's not that you're supposed to go in there and fix it. She wants to fix it. She has the ability to fix it, man. She wants to fix it. She just wants to know that you are emotionally stable enough that you can handle her turmoil also. You can handle her turmoil. You can handle how her ups and downs. She may even get angry while she's talking and reenacting the day. Can you handle the fact that her emotions that she's displaying have no effect on you? They do not affect you. They do not reflect on you. Her emotions are her emotions. Your emotions are your emotions. You cannot be affected by her emotion. Now, she can act out on her emotion, and that might affect you. You piss her off enough, she may grab a knife and come after you. All right. That's her emotional response. All right. That's her response to what the emotion is she's feeling. But her actual emotion of anger, frustration, sadness, whatever, doesn't affect you. You have a thought about her being upset and angry. Last night, I got home. All right. Not in the best of moods. She was a little grumbly for some reason. And I asked her, I was like, so what's going on? And she's like, nothing. And there's an anxious attachment style that I love to jump into. And I want to make her being unhappy mean something about me. It has nothing to do with me. I wasn't around at the house. She had something happen. She had the thought sequence that caused her to present herself in a grumpy manner. Had nothing to do with me. It took me being very conscious about the fact that it does not center around me. I told her, all right, well, okay. You want to talk about it? Let me know. I'll be here to listen. Nothing was said about it after that. I still thought about it. I still was sweating that detail for some reason because I want that my wife's emotion to be within my benchmark zone. I want it to be in this little defined zone. And if she stays there, I know life is okay. If it gets too high, too low, something's going on and that's going to start wigging me out. That's just the nice guy in me. But if you can take the time and be all right with her, just being present with her emotions, being present with her as she talks about what her day is, talks about what's going through her mind, you make your connection that much stronger. Now, another way that you can actually build your connection with your wife up even more is if you work on your 4 pillars of a relaxed male. That is working on the mind, reading books, listen to podcasts, talking to other people, like if you are a part of a church, talking to a minister, finding out ways that you can increase your connectivity with those people around you, but also with your wife. Learning, growing, developing yourself, developing your mind. getting mentally stronger, always learning, never stop learning. Because the moment you stop learning is the moment you start dying. All right. A man's body is another pillar. Eat right, exercise. That's what that's all about. And it doesn't mean you have to go vegan either, man. God, no. I hate everybody's thinking they have to go vegan on because of the man's body. No, eat proper amounts of food. Stay away from sugar. Abstain from cigarettes. Have a beer from time to time. Have a glass of wine from time to time, but don't go off and drink the whole bottle in one setting. You're not doing yourself any good. You're adding a whole bunch of extra calories, so you're getting yourself fat. You're increasing your chances of having diabetes and other things. You can't protect your wife. A man has to be able to protect his family. And he needs to show and honor his wife by saying, I am willing to be here with you for the very long haul. I'm going to be there to protect you. I'm going to be by your side. I want to be your partner in crime for the rest of our lives. To be able to do that, you have to take care of your body. You cannot defend your wife properly if you have you've had one foot amputated because you weren't taking care of yourself. If you walk up a flight of 5 stairs and up the top, you're in trouble, man. Your wife is in trouble. Because if you get into a hand-to-hand combat and you're breathing heavy as it is just going up a flight of stairs, what if you're going to get somebody who is a little bit in better shape than you? They're going to kick your ass. So you have to get into shape. Just walking does so much for you. It expounds, it forces the blood vessels in the fingertips and in your toes to expand so that you get more blood flow going. Exercise is great and it's incredible for you and for your health and for the family and for you. If you want to have better sex, getting yourself into shape so that you actually have proper blood flow to Mr. Happy is an important factor. All right. Stop watching the porn because, man, you're killing yourself just by flogging the dolphin too damn much. Now, not that kills you, but you're killing the creativity, the drive to get out amongst the world and to exercise and to eat right is what I'm meaning. You need the man's body pillar, the man's soul. What is your purpose? What is making your soul shine? You have to have a reason to get out of bed in the morning. You have to have a reason to just go out and try again. This is the reason why Relaxed Male's out there. This is my calling. This is my purpose. I have been doing this thing for 7 years. Seven, is it 7 years? 2017, 18, 19. Yeah. Holy crow. Yeah. 7 years. And it wasn't a coaching site to begin with, but it has been a passion project that has morphed and morphed and morphed again. And that is what makes it so fun, is that I have not run out of topics yet. Has the focuses changed each year? Yeah. We've gone from working on man's mind to working on man's purpose, and we're now kind of in man's community. And we're going to be staying in man's community for a while because this is really what makes me shine. This is what makes me happy, gets my juices flowing, man. Just the fact that we are talking about purpose is so tremendous for us in our life. We get out of bed, we live longer when we have a purpose. This is one reason why when you see a man who has done 30 years at a business and he gets around to where it's time to retire. He retires, he has cake, gets a gold plated watch, goes home, plays golf for about a year, 2 years, and then somewhere along the way he dies. That is because he didn't have a purpose. He lost his purpose. He lost his identity when he stopped working at that company. Was the company his purpose? It could have been, but he had a sense of purpose. That might have been what his calling was, but whenever he left, he didn't renew and find another purpose. And so he passed. The same thing happens to older couples. Say you've got got a husband and wife, and the wife dies at 86 and the gentleman lives another year, if that. That's one reason why you get so many men who their wife dies and they die at the same time with them. They cannot, us men, if we don't have somebody we can take care of, somebody we can nurture, somebody that we can spend our life with, you're going to die even faster. That's what's so sad about so many of the young men these days. We're going to have a population decrease, not just because the young couples are not having children. We're in a negative, we're in a decline on kids having families. They are missing out what it means. They think, I can have kids when I'm 40. No. One, that means you're 60 years old whenever the kid gets out of high school. You should be really, kind of starting to really live your own life. Having kids in your 20s is the best time. Having kids in your 20s is when you have most energy to be a mom and dad. And oh my gosh, 30s is okay. But, women who have kids in their 40s run the risk of Down syndrome. Not that having a child with Down syndrome is a bad thing, because they are the happiest beings on the planet. They are angels that walk among us, but you run an increased risk of having children with Down syndrome from women who are in their 50s, late 40s, early 50s. It is so hard for women to be pregnant at that age, but yet we have to have a purpose. And these men aren't getting married at a young age. We should be celebrating, but yet, I remember I had an aunt whenever me and my wife got pregnant with my wife got pregnant. I was just there to apply the secret sauce. But when we found out she was pregnant, I had an aunt who was very much, it's like, oh, you're one of those breeders, huh? Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of the purpose. You went off and had 2 kids. We're not overpopulated. I can tell you that. We can go on about all the the people who scream about misinformation are the ones who seem to be dishing out more misinformation. But the misinformation about population is almost hysterical when you find out if we were to even just crunch ourselves down into like Bangladesh or New Delhi. Not Bangladesh. Bangladesh is a country. But if you were to take it and cram it down into like New Delhi density or even Hong Kong density, I think you could take every human in the world and fit them into Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas, something like that. Or maybe it's New Mexico, Texas, and Oklahoma. Anyhow, very small compared to what the rest of the world is. We are nowhere near as full as we want to think we are. But when it comes to speaking of full, that's the 4th pillar that you need to have. The man's community. You need to have a community around you, a group of men, other men. And that's the very specific part. You need to have a group of men that you spend very intentional time with. Those men help you keep your masculine energy going. If you don't have that masculine energy, you're not going to have the energy to help support your wife and your kids. You need to have that energy, that masculine energy, That's only the best word to describe it. To have that mindset, to be able to have the can-do attitude, you have to be able to have masculine energy. And you only get that when you're around other men. So what else do you need to do when it comes to building that connection? Say you've been working on your community. You've got a plan, you're executing it. Bingo, beautiful, awesome, kick butt. So what do we want to do? Well, the biggest part when it comes to communication, comes to talking, to build that connection. When you started every Saturday, 8:00, I'm sitting down, I'm having a conversation with the wife, whether she wants it or not. And how do you do that? How do you have a conversation with your wife? And that sounds weird because I struggled with the same question. It's like, well, what do we talk about? Your life, your dreams, your hopes, your fears. And when your wife is talking, get honestly curious, ask honest questions, show them what it is that you are truly invested in their life. Show your wife that you truly do care. Yeah, you're going to have to listen to a lot of that really crappy, just mediocre, boring, detailed stuff, but it helps you have a better life with your wife. You build a better connection. She can trust you. She knows that you're there to hear her, and she feels heard. When she feels heard, all of a sudden her clothes start wearing a little looser. When she talks about particular problems, listen, but don't fix. If she wants a problem, wants a problem fixed, she will ask you to help fix it. I want a solution to this problem. She will ask you and tell you what it is she wants done. And she will tell you, hey, I need this done. If it's bothering you and you want to try to help her fix it, first ask, it's like, do you want a solution to this? And she says, no. Okay, cool. Well, we're going to continue on with ourselves then. And just keep telling and keep going. And then after everything is said and done, the big point is take action. Do the scary things. Ask the scary questions. And that big scary question we're going to come up with here in about 2 weeks. Next week, I'm actually going to talk about some of the habits that we do that actually break connections. So that'll become in episode 228. But the week after that, we're going to talk about the really scary question, that the question that keeps us from actually having more sex because we don't ever ask this question. And that is, you ask, hey, you want to go fool around in bed? And be okay with the no and not take that personally. Can you have a discussion and it not be taken personally? Can you ask questions and have her responses be not taken personally? It's not a point, a diss at you. It's not her talking smack about you. It is her talking about her views of what the circumstance currently is. But when you take the time, you work on the man's pillar, work on the man's body, get better communication skills by working on the man's mind. You work on all of these, you're going to have results. Your thoughts create your results. Remember that. You're always going to have stronger results when you actually start paying attention to what the thought is behind the emotion. Why are you feeling upset about what it is she said? Well, because she says she doesn't love me anymore. No, she said she thinks she needs to lose. Thinks you need to lose a little weight. That's just her observation. Do you? Honestly, probably so. But at the same time, it's just a thought. So guys, I want to say thank you very much for listening, taking care of listening, and because our relationships with our wives are so incredibly important. They are the reason that we got married. We wanted to be around our wife. If you want to find a way of building that connection, building that strong, powerful connection, I still have several openings available for the coaching offer that I have. That is 3 months of one-on-one coaching for just $300. We will we will isolate the problem. We will take that problem. We will come up with an action plan. And with that action plan, you can actually start making steps towards improving your life. And that whole time, looking at what's causing you from being able to take the steps that are needed, so that hold these thoughts and these actions and the emotions that keep you back can be rectified, can be changed. We can get a better solution. All we have to do is just take the next step. If you're looking to take the next step, just go to relaxedmale.com/coaching offer. And there we'll have a little form. Just fill it out and I'll send you a Zoom link and we'll get you all set up. We'll let you decide when and where you want to talk. We'll sit down, we'll have a discussion, and we'll go from there. So guys, thank you again for listening. If anything that I said here resonated with you, please share this out. Share it on to Facebook, share it with friends, send it to them as a text message saying, man, this resonated with me in such a way. I thought, all I could think of was, you need to hear this. So if you want to have the relationship that you want, take that next step. relaxedmale.com/coaching offer, or you can go to the webpage and actually just hit the button, take the next step, and we'll get you done. We'll get you there. So guys, thank you again for listening. Y'all take care. Y'all have a great rest of the week, and we will see y'all next week. Till then, bye.